What's up, guys? It's Carson back here on Toxic Gaming today with something kind of exciting. If you watched on Twitter, watched the stream and everything, the draft stream of it, you would know this. But for those of you who don't, we have joined the Chicago Bewears have joined the NPCC. I believe it's National Pokemon Competitive Conference. I think that's right. I'm not certain. I believe that's right. But the NPCC, we have some friends in it, like Jack, aka Don Fanatic. We got Juancito Marvel. I know he's in here. I know there's a few other people in here, like Sharp Dress Gaming, who we played in the PGL. I know. Oh, there's one more. Who am I thinking of? I'm looking on the list. I'm trying to. Max Rapture of the Tasmanian Toxic Rogues. We also played him in the PGL as well. So we got some few people that we know. A lot of new people in here as going with it. But we actually have our draft here. If you saw the draft stream, then you know some of the mons that we have, and you'll see on your screen as we just go through the order that we drafted them, not necessarily the order of like the way it's on screen, or the way like the sheet is on screen. But basically for this league, you had to have a tier 1, a tier 2. It's weird, like tiered plus pricing system, I guess like GBA style. So a tier 1, a tier 2, two tier 3s, a tier 4, a tier 5. And then they do something different with this, with having a Mega or what they call an S tier pick, which are mons that are, in my opinion, a little broken, but, you know, they cost, I believe, like 60 points for S tier mons, and then you don't get a Mega for your team. But that's what we have. That's really the format that we are. Then you have 4 free mons that basically, using then the point style, whatever points you have left, you have to then fill 4 more spots on your draft. I believe we were like we were number 12 out of 16 people, so we are towards the back end, and even though being number 12 out of 16, our number 1 pick is one of my favorite mons to use in format and watch be used in format. It's so fun, and the things it does it just does so well, and that's why our number 1 overall pick is Celesteela. Now, Celesteela is one of those mons where it's like, it has so much with its base power, like base power in both attack and special attack being pretty similar, pretty in there enough to be able to use either way with it. Heavy Slam being the majority of what really Celesteela uses for an offensive stab move, because it hits so goddamn hard, and I mean so goddamn hard, that it's one of the strongest, I believe, steel moves in the game for what it is, and I'm a fan of that. So naturally, I liked picking Celesteela for our first round pick. I was surprised it fell to 12th when in some other drafts that I was in, like off-season stuff to test things out in Gen 7, it was going like number 2 to 3 overall, and it fell all the way to us at 12. So I was really happy about that. We got an amazing steel type right off the bat. Almost, I would say, a base 100, barring its speed, and then with Beast Boost on top of that, and you can literally just, the way you can set up the EVs to where almost any of its stats, except for speed, will be able to be boosted is amazing. I believe the only way you can get speed boosted is if you're Choice Scarf as well, and even then, it's like, kind of, but still. Beast Boost, as with getting those boosts for us as well, is really nice. And then with it being able to be like an Akaberry set, an AV set that's really nasty, Leftovers, Toxic, Leech Seed, Dickhead set, and all these other coverage moves like Flame Charge, Earthquake, all these other moves that it gets for coverage. Seed Bomb. Why the fuck does this thing get Seed Bomb? But like, the coverage and everything that Celesteela has in the package of what it should be, I'm super excited. Its really biggest weakness in Gen 7 meta, of like draft meta, could be really hard-hitting fire types that actually are able to actually smack it down a lot. And then a little snake that some people have heard of called Zygarde, and with Thousand Arrows being a thing, it's kind of really hampered Celesteela. So what did we decide to do on our second pick in the draft? And we went with Zygarde 50 because it was still there. Nobody had drafted it, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take Zygarde 50%. I'm going to take one of the biggest threats to Celesteela. I'm going to put it on my team so that now you got to deal with it. And I was really, really interested in seeing, like, going through the season, I'm going to be interested to see how people deal with this combo, as it's pretty hard to break through these two with Zygarde being, you know, base 108 HP, base 121 physical defense, access to DD and E speed as well. Really, again, we had Zygarde 10 in the meme league, and this is just kind of like a beefed up version of it. Beefed up, a little slower version of it. It is the snake. It is from out of nowhere. He will fucking run through you if you're not careful. And basically, him having great setup options in both DD and Coil. Sub-Coil set is nasty to deal with. Zygarde, taking one of the biggest threats to Celesteela off the board, in my opinion, with Zygarde and putting him on our team was worth with 180 points that I got docked from my free point total. I think our free point total was like 400 points. So automatically we lost almost half of that by taking Zygarde, but it was completely worth it, in my opinion. 180 points, by the way, was also what Tier 1 was, so that was what Celesteela counted as our Tier 1 pick. But moving on to our third round, and this I'm saying this again for your ears to understand. Our third round, going back up the draft and back down the draft, 22 picks went before we could take this. We got Darkrai. Like, literally, we got Darkrai. Third round pick of Darkrai being our S tier, so we don't have our Megamon, which it's kind of but hell, we got a Darkrai. Like, literally, I made a joke about this in a lot of the in the chats, being like, oh, what's that? What'd you draft? Oh, hey, that's Darkrai food. That's okay, because really the combination of Celesteela, Darkrai, Zygarde, what do you have? Like, whatever can be like one of those things, or even potentially take on two, the third one can compensate for. Basically, with 125, 135 speed and the special attack, he is a monster revenge killer for us. His attack ain't horrible at 90 if we really want to go for it, and then with 70, 90, 90, it's... Oh, I've heard a lot of things of Darkrai being like, oh, it's so frail and everything. I'm like, it's 70, 90, 90. Some Mons, some Mons have that, and they're like, oh, that's a bulky Mon. So, like, having Darkrai with that, and then the insane power, the nasty plot boost, and the coverage that this thing gets just randomly. And I know we could use Dark Void, but in all honesty, Hypnosis is better right now because it's 60%, not 50% accurate. So, hell. The thing that does kind of suck is we can't have Darkrai as a Z mover. They had a whole thing where, because basically your S tier is taking over your Mega Pick, your S tiers can't be Z movers, which is completely fair, and I get it, because Z Darkrai would have been busted. But I'm okay with that. I'll reveal the 2 Z users that we have later down the line. But I'm still now shocked that we got Darkrai third round, 22 picks after picking up Zygarde 50, and people were like, oh no, he won't get another good mod. He'll go tier 2 or tier 3, you know, somewhere down there. Maybe a free pick if he really wants to splurge his points, and he almost can't even do that with the point total for these extra mons. We snagged Darkrai, and then people were like, wait, what the fuck? What just happened? Like, what literally just happened? And for our number 4 pick, we kept them thinking what just happened when we took our tier 2, good old Sylveon. Kevin, as he will be a he, is preferably named thanks to way back, back in the days of PIC with Beck, and like Beck giving me this nickname pretty much. I don't know why, just Sylveon became Kevin for me from now on. But these 4 together now, again, the Fairy Dragon Steel Core of Celesteela, Sylveon, Zygarde, the fuck you gonna break through? Like, literally, it's gonna be... I feel like it's gonna be so hard for people to break through that Dragon Fairy Steel Core. Really, Zygarde might, more than often than not, be an offensive set. But and Celesteela and Sylveon be probably more bulky. But, like, say one game it's a Zygarde 50 offensive and a weakness policy Celesteela. Like, all of a sudden, now you have 2 huge threats to deal with, and then you have a Sylveon that's just going to sit on the field and hyper voice you to death. And then they brought up a big thing during the draft that I actually didn't think of when I drafted Sylveon. I was thinking more like passing wishes, but apparently Baton Pass is legal in this for, I believe, everything but like stat plus speed, so it's kind of like PPL rules. So I could Baton Pass a good old Calm Mind into some things that we already have that you can see on your screen and just think of, oh my god, that with the Calm Mind, the fuck is going on? But that's some interesting things, and basically Sylveon's going to do the things with being probably EV to the physical defense side, but being a natural special defense tank as it is. Like, Sylveon is going to work so well with our other 3 mons that it's going to be insane. Then for our number 5 pick, we decided to go into our tier 3s, and I was like, you know what? I have my Fairy Dragon Steel Core. I have a really good Dark type. Let's do something else here. Let's start off trying to get our Fire Water Grass Core, and we're going to start off with the power that is Darmanitan. Like, for our third or tier 3 pick, our 5th pick overall, we get Darmanitan, and it's a Darmanitan. Like, it's weirdly not looked at sometimes. Like in drafting, people are like, okay, I'll get Darmanitan if Entei is gone. I'll get Darmanitan if Arcanine is gone, or if Infernape is gone. And I look at it, I'm like, you know what? I want the power. Yes, this mod might not be more often than not Choice Scarf, but I have the option of Sub Salac Belly Drum. I have the option for that. Hell, I have the option for Zen mode if I really want to do so. But literally, Sheer Force, Flare Blitzes, Sheer Force, Rock Slide. I don't think it gets Stone Edge. I can't remember. Like having the Sheer Force boost and then giving it a Life Orb, and it's like, holy shit, what's gonna stay in on a Darmanitan now? Also, with the one thing that we didn't really have yet on the team was any type of initiative, and with U-Turn with that'd be really nice for us. And he puts so much. If we didn't have enough offensive pressure with Darkrai, Zygarde 50, and potential Celesteela, we have enough now with Darmanitan. Like, we have the offense that we need combined with insane bulk already with Celesteela and Sylveon. We have basically a core team right here. So I'm really excited we got Darmanitan. And then next up, we got a mon that I looked at Kyle in the PPL, him using it. I really wanted to like try it out for myself. I heard some really good things about it. We dipped into tier 4 a little early from some people's picks. We dipped into tier 4 and we took up Serena for our grass type, a good rapid spinner. Surprisingly, I was surprised when I read this for the first time, that has 120 base attack. Shit. Like, this thing can still hit decently hard, even if you build it a bulky set. It can still hit pretty hard. Its ability of Queenly Majesty, making priority moves completely ineffective against it. So for some reason, if we decide to do a Choice Scarf set and like we're low on health, I know I can at least still get off one last hit that I can't get a priority move used against me. That would be super nice. 72, 98, 98, like HP and defenses and stuff, really is decently bulky for some grass types. They're not as bulky as some of you might think. Like, I know the bulkiest grass types when people think of them are like Tangrowth. If you build Shaman bulky, Tangela, as we very well know, Mega Venusaur, like some things along that line, and then good old Serena kind of fits up right in there, and we get another initiative mon and another mon with U-Turn and Spinner and potential going with Rapid Spin. Give us something to remove hazards. We didn't have anything really yet, so having something there that's a potential to move hazards, kind of, I would say, I don't know if it counts as like a stall breaker thing, by being able to go with the Toxic and have the bulk to kind of back it up. Really, Serena, I feel, could do some really nice things for us. A good niche on the team, or niche, whatever the fucking word is. But that's what I really wanted to go for, our grass type. And after that pick, we went up to our final tier 3 pick, and we picked up Swampert, finishing off our Fire Water Grass Core. Getting a ground type, a second one as well. I was like, you know what? I know at the time I was like, shit, I don't have a ground type, so I drafted Swampert. And then I looked at it later, and I'm like, oh, I have Zygarde 50. I completely, forgot that I had Zygarde 50. So we have 2 ground types. I'm okay with that. That means we can't get Volt Switched all over on, and it does help protect Celesteela in that aspect as well. But we got basically a bulky water with 100, 90, and 90 in his defenses and stuff. He can have the Stealth Rock Toxic, and I'm like 98% sure that this is there. That or I'm confusing it with Seismitoad. I might be confusing it with Seismitoad, but I'm pretty sure it gets Refresh through a weird-ass egg move. We could have Refresh on good old Swampert here. And then really, the great dual stab that is Water Ground, just to hit a lot of things neutrally, and then also combine onto that Edgequake, throw Stone Edge on there as well, and we got a mon that's a good tank, a good mon that can do some good damage to everything, so that Celesteela, Zygarde, and most importantly, Darkrai can clean up later. Plus, being able to pressure with Stealth Rocks and the Toxic, like I mentioned, that can really wear down mons over time, so that Darkrai and all those can clean up later in the game. That's really what I wanted Swampert. I needed something that had Stealth Rocks, and I wanted something that was bulky water. It fit the bill perfectly. Our next pick in the draft, we're now into our first tier 5 pick, and then we'll be diving into the final free mons a little bit after. But for our first tier 5 pick, we didn't have an electric type yet, and I was like, you know what? It sounds kind of cheesy to go with this. I wanted to go with Raichu because I felt like, okay, my fastest mon is Darkrai at 125. The next fastest is like Darm and Zygarde at 95. I had nothing in between there, and I felt I needed something, and really the best, I wanted an electric type. I needed someone that was fast, but not so fast to overpace Darkrai. I needed something to fit in there, so a nice 110. I fit in there pretty well with Raichu. It also adds in for our third initiative user by having Volt Switch as well, so we have really the Volt turn that I have loved using since Black and White. Like, I love Volt turn since then, and so it has that for us as well. And then, something I kind of didn't think of upon drafting it, but we also have a third electric immunity in Lightning Rod, and we can actually get a special attack boost from that. So if like we're able to predict like a Volt Switch from somebody, switch in, get the Lightning Rod boost, and say we're Scarfed for some reason, like say we need to go supersonic fast, we now have a +1 speed and then a Scarfed mon that can really do some damage. And then Raichu has some cool little tech options. I believe you can technically get Surf Raichu. You can in Sun and Moon, I believe that's a thing. I know you can go like Fake Out. We can go physical with Volt Tackle for unknown reasons. Like it's base 90-90 for attack and special attack. It could be physical if we really wanted to. I know it gets like Mega Punch and Mega Kick. It would be really funny. But like Raichu has some cool tech options. It's like, oh hey, I got my 2 new moves I need. What's a third and fourth move? Oh, these 2 will work. Boom, boom. Now we can surprise our opponents with some cool little tech options that Raichu can give us. Next on our team, I knew with the final 3 mons, I wanted 3 different types. I wanted a fighting type, I wanted a normal type, and I wanted a psychic type. Somewhere in there is the 3 mons we needed, and we only had, I believe, like 160 points left, so it had to be 2 tier 5s and a tier 4 to be able to actually, like, or 3 tier 5s and not use all of our points. But I wanted to try to use all of them. And so for our next pick, the second free draft mon that we got good old Hitmonchan. I wouldn't say the best of the 3 brothers, a little there, but with a base 105 attack, base 110 special defense, having the Iron Fist and the coverage moves with the elemental punches, having Drain Punch, having Mach Punch, having close combat, having the things that we kind of need him to do specifically of being a fighting mon is really all we need Hitmonchan for. The decent special defense means that running an AV set really kind of works. Like, he can get that extra special defense, and then all of a sudden we got a tank and Hitmonchan. And then also, if, like, we have... I don't think he gets Earthquake, but I believe we have like, say, Close Combat, Ice Punch, and Fire Punch. That's really all the coverage we need. We can throw Rapid Spin on there as a 4th move, have our spinner, have what we need with that spin option that Hitmonchan can provide, that really all the Hitmons can, but I feel like Hitmonchan is one of the better of the options to actually want to put Rapid Spin onto. An Iron Fist, and then having all those punching moves. It is the punching boy. It is the punching Pokemon. All that stuff. Hitmonchan, I really am confident in. Next, I wanted to go with somebody who was, again, normal or psychic. I was looking, and I was so like confused about what I was gonna do. Then I found a mon called Exploud, good old yelling guy. Because why is he yelling? Fuck you, that's why. Like, literally, that's what Exploud is gonna be. With the 104 HP, normal types having the higher side of HP, I really was enjoying that. Weird, I didn't even notice that his attack and special attack are the same. I know he gets like extremely better special attack coverage, so that might be more leaning towards. Plus, with Boom Burst being such a great thing for it, and basically having Scrappy of something has to switch into a Boom Burst. Not a whole lot can switch into Boom Burst plus one of his coverage moves. Like, that's what Exploud really does for you. And then it also has some cool tech. I know off the top of my head, I know it has like Taunt as a really cool tech of it. Something like if something bulky tries to come in, I can taunt it and get it like locked up in what it wants to do, and try to shut that down early. Throw the Boom Burst out and just get consistent damage so that Darkrai, Zygarde, and other things have an easier time cleaning up. That's really what I wanted with this whole draft, is like, I want mons who are bulky, but I want consistent damage. I want to try, like, almost every turn, something is getting damage on it. Like, that's something I've noticed in the games I've played before. I've played, like, with offensive mons, very offensive, but then on mons that are kind of offensive, played more passively with them. I kind of want to change that for this. I want to play, like, I want to be aggressive with this team, and that's kind of why I drafted this way. And for our last pick, the last of our points mons, I needed a Psychic type, and I only had 40 points. I'll tell you right now, there weren't many. There really were not many in this range. And I decided to go with something that I was like, you know what? I thought about going BEM. BEM was so close to being picked, and I was like, that'd be so fun to have BEM. And one of my friends who I was talking to about drafting and everything, he's like, nah, dude, Kadabra's there. Like, you have Kadabra, 105 speed, 120 special attack. He can hold a focus sash and not give a fuck because of Magic Guard of like, getting that broken from rocks or anything. And I'm like, you know what? Kadabra's a fucking cool boy. This is what's gonna happen. It also, I didn't realize much at the time of drafting it. I realized it more after the draft that it fits that right in that, again, that in-between spot of now 110 and 95 with Nice and 105. So we can actually outspeed the base 110s with 3 different mons and 3 different kinds of mons, even though they're all special attackers. 3 different ways of hitting them with typings. And with Kadabra having basically, I believe, an exact same moveset as Alakazam, I believe he is very close. Maybe the only thing he doesn't get is like Hyper Beam or some bullshit. But with that coverage and Kadabra having that for us, it could be something that comes in 2 to 3 turns, get a few nuke hits off, that's all we need. Comes in, gets a quick T-Wave, that's all we need. Comes in, gets a quick like light screen or something, that's all we need. Like, he'll be the mon that is kind of like, okay, we need one specific thing, insert Kadabra, he can do it. All we need him for. And I really want to see what Kadabra can do for us. He does his things, he does all we need to do. And now finally we have our Z Pokemon. There are 2 different Z using types, basically kind of exactly like PPL. One Super Z user, and then one only offensive. I know PPL, I believe we had 3, but this is only 2 for this league. Our Super Z user, the one that can use Z support moves, is Darmanitan, and our offensive only Z user is Zygarde 50. And it came down to Darmanitan is kind of like, okay, we need someone who can benefit the most from using Z status moves. I was tempted to go with Kadabra so that I could kind of not have that knockoff weakness, but as I was looking at it more, having Z Belly Drum on Darmanitan is scary as shit. Like, having that option, having Z Sunny Day, having those options on Darmanitan when really all it needs is 3 moves to do what it needs to do against my opponent. Having that option for a Z status move and for Darmanitan is amazing. And then for the offensive Z move, I picked Zygarde 50. It was a toss-up between Zygarde, Celesteela, and there was one more. Who's the other one? And I think Exploud, just because of Exploud's coverage. It was a toss-up between them, and it was kind of like, you know what? All of them can benefit it. It really doesn't matter which one it is. And so I decided to pick Zygarde 50. I kind of wanted, as I thought about it more, I was like, you know what? He doesn't have like the widest of movesets, but it's the point of I don't have to, like, if I don't have to run Yachi Berry every week, I don't have to run leftovers every week. I can all of a sudden have a Z move and nuke something, then one of the other mons can have an easier time actually winning the game for us. Potentially, if Zygarde maybe doesn't have the thing that can actually win the full game, or it's going to be like, okay, this is a switch in, I'm going to nuke it with the Z move and then follow up kill. Now his switch into Zygarde is gone, Zygarde can win. That's what I wanted to do with Zygarde here, with having it be in our last Z mover. But with all of that going in, I'm not too certain. I believe we start, let me see if I can look it up. I believe we start our schedule like the 26th of August. I think it's somewhere around there. So keep a lookout and everything on Twitter. Follow down in the description. It's in every description of every video is my Twitter links to follow, so you are always up to date on what we are doing. I believe we're starting the 26th of August. I believe that's correct. But we will be having probably team builders there. Let me know down in the description below, or not description, comment section, if you guys would like to see team builders from this or as separate videos, or if you just want them as like we did for Meme League as the beginning and skip to the actual battle. Let me know what you guys think about it. But without any further ado, I'm gonna get up and out of here. So this is, or I'm fucking up my outro always. Thank you guys for coming out. I'm Carson, this is Toxic Gaming. And as always, you guys stay toxic. We'll see you guys.